Hi, welcome. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications. Today we are interviewing a member of the West Bloomfield School District Board named Ashleigh Davis. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you, Max?
I'm doing good. What is your schedule like?
Very busy. I pretty much do something every day, and some days it's all day, some days it's just a couple hours. Technically, we have 2 meetings a month, so it should just be 2 Monday evenings, but we get to get involved with committees, and so you get to be as busy or not busy as you would like, and I have chosen the busy route.
Do you ever
Yes,
have
so I
anxiety
haven't made
while or
any huge
before you are
decisions
making a
yet.
decision?
I'm still new to this, but even the very first meeting, we had to do voting on who was going to be the president, the treasurer, the vice president, and the secretary. And even just a simple thing like that, I get nervous. You think about all the different possibilities and how your one decision could impact various people. So short answer, yes, I have those feelings and I have to work through them.
What was it like hearing you made the board?
I was so excited, though it was like midnight or 12:30 at night when it was official, and I was exhausted. So I was very excited. It's a great opportunity. I'm grateful for all the support that I had. But it was an exhausting couple of months. So it was also kind of a sigh of relief, like, oh, that piece was over.
How long have you been trying to get on the board for?
So this was my first time. And to be honest, it wasn't something of a dream or an aspiration that I had for a long time. I have just been involved in the schools. I was an educator prior to having my kids in this district. I have 4 kids here. I was attending board meetings and just involved in a different capacity. And it was kind of a natural progression. So I was encouraged to run for the board. And then once I started to think about it, I thought I might be a good fit. So I would say I made that decision around May of 2022. I put my name in the running, and then in November it was done. So a couple of intense months.
What is the easiest thing to make a decision on?
Oh, that's tricky. Well, I think the easiest is just, I guess I don't know. Well, like I said, we haven't made very many decisions yet, me personally, but I would think that the easiest decisions were going to be, for me personally, like things for curriculum or what's best for kids or implementing opportunities, approving those types of things that give kids opportunities. For example, one of the things we have to vote on next board meeting is for the high schoolers, an opportunity to travel to Greece and learn about the theater and all of, a fabulous trip of opportunity and experience. That's an easy decision for me.
What is the hardest thing to make a decision on?
I would say anything that is taking away from our students or our staff. So taking away a position, for example, that might impact one of our staff members' livelihoods if they don't have that position anymore, or taking away a program or an opportunity from a kid or a group of children. That would be a very tough decision to make.
Are there any programs that you would like to see grow?
A lot of programs. I would love to see, I'm just learning a little bit more about OEC, which is Oakland Early College. And I did a walkthrough, like a tour of that. What a fabulous program. I would love to see that get some more growth and more students. I think there was like 150 and they have room for 180. So there's room for growth there. I would love to see the robotics program grow, which I know you're a part of. The theater, I know is kind of on the upswing, but that would be a great program to see grow, along with the marching band. I know West Bloomfield used to have a huge marching band, and it's kind of downsized over the years. So seeing things like that grow would be great, and I would fully support them.
What is your favorite thing to make a decision on?
I think it's kind of going back to the experiences. I think giving kids opportunities to hone in on what they enjoy, hone in on what they are interested in, along with giving experiences. So things like field trips or different programs that can just allow kids experiences, hand-on real life experiences. Those would be my favorite.
What is your least favorite thing to make a decision on?
Well, again, like anything taking away from the kids, but I would say another one would be student discipline. The board is not involved with day-to-day types of discipline, but if there was ever a severe type of discipline, like an expulsion or something like that, we have to be involved, and that would be very, very difficult.
Who is your favorite person to work with? I know you've only been on the board for a little while now.
So far, I don't know that I can pick a favorite. I can say that it's been great to work with all of them. They have such different strengths and different experiences and knowledge. So I have learned so much from every single one of the board members in varying capacities. And I very much appreciate their openness and willingness to teach me and kind of guide me along, because even though I've been in education and I've attended board meetings, there is still so much that's new. I can't necessarily pick a favorite, but I will say they're all wonderful and have been very helpful.
What are some of the things that they've taught you?
So they've taught me some not very exciting things, like, but very important, like school finance. How are the schools funded? What are the different grants that we get? How can we apply them? So how are we spending money, and how do we move forward doing budgets? So I've learned that a little bit. I still have a lot more to learn. I'm currently learning a little bit about contract negotiations. So how that process takes place, like with the teachers unions and the various unions. I've learned a lot about how just our school runs. So, the different safety features we have in place, the different mental health specialists we have on staff for our students, the different academic help and supports. So they're just kind of teaching me all the different facets of how a school district runs, because it's very complex.
What is it like to be on the board?
I love it so far. I will say it is taking up more time than I expected, and I did expect it to take a lot of time. But again, I'm kind of choosing that because I'm choosing to be on the committees and attend things. So it's busy, it's exciting. I love learning. I'm a lifelong learner, so I am loving all of the things that I'm learning. One of the things that I've gotten to do, which is a favorite, was we get to go to lunch. They call them meet and eats. And so we go to the different schools around the district, and you get to have lunch with students. So anytime I get to interact with the kids, that tends to be a favorite, most enjoyable thing. It feels like a lot of pressure sometimes, because there's such a huge variety of opinions, and there's always going to be conflicting opinions in the community. So trying to support our community sometimes means making decisions that not everyone will agree on. So that kind of puts a lot of pressure, but I can handle it.
From some of my other interviews, I've understand that you guys do study groups before the board meetings. How many times a month do you guys meet for those?
So there's one scheduled study session per month, and that's always about 2 weeks before the board meeting. So at the study session, you get all the information about the topics that you will be voting on at the following board meeting. So it gives you time to discuss, ask questions, get more data, ask for whatever information you need to be able to make a viable decision within the 2 weeks. So there's one scheduled per month, but if there was ever a need for another one, they will schedule it, although there's like a certain time constraint based on the Open Meetings Act. I think it has to be within like 18 or 24 hours or something. So they can schedule additional, but only on a needed basis.
What is your career history and roles?
So my career history is pretty short because I've only really done education. I started at Royal Oak Middle School right out of college. as a middle school science teacher. And I stayed there through my 10 years of teaching. I currently am at home with my 4 kids and volunteering in the schools as much as possible, and now school board.
What do you have in plan to make West Bloomfield School District better?
So I don't have any particular plans, if you will, because I'm only one voice of a 7-team board. So anything that happens has to be a group team decision. But what I would like to see is I would like to see our residents of West Bloomfield, that population increasing in our schools. I would like to see kind of what we talked about, some programs increasing, like in the arts. I would like to see the magnet program currently goes 3 to 5, maybe expanding that through middle school, or I don't know if they ever expand it the other way, starting younger, but definitely expand that program. You know, just making sure whatever our community needs, that we're meeting those needs.
What are you working on right now with the board? Like, what's coming up in the next board meeting, or what's something that's working on behind the scenes?
So one of the things, to be honest, I don't have the agenda and I don't remember everything, but one of the things on the next meeting will be that Greece trip that I had mentioned. Something that I've been working a lot on almost every day doing something is preparing for the new bond. So there's a vote on May 2nd, May 2nd, 2023 for a bond, a no tax increase. So the estimated 0 net tax increase bond, which would get the school $148 million within a 6-year span. So we've really been working on promoting that and getting the word out to the communities and explaining how we would use those funds. That's probably been what has taken the most of my time recently.
What does the bond cover?
So things that the bond is planned to do would be 2 new elementary schools at the site of Doherty and Chico. There is a great expansion and remodel of the CTE program at the high school. So currently, I think it was a little bit under 6,000 square foot currently. They would remodel that entire section and put another 6,000 square foot addition. So you're doubling the space of CTE and completely remodeling it, which that would be phenomenal. They're hoping to move the central office staff over to the Abbott building location, which is currently has the Roosevelt Elementary School there, which would take an entire building cost off the budget, because you wouldn't have to pay for any of the, just maintenance for that building any longer. They're trying to put preschool, like an actual dedicated early childhood learning space at both the south side and the north side. Currently, they're just putting the preschoolers wherever they fit. So right now we have a couple preschoolers at Scotch, a couple classes at ACS, Gretschko, and I think Chico. So they're kind of scattered about, and they want to be more intentional about where they put preschool. There's some upgrades to the athletics, remodeling, or not remodeling, but putting in new bleachers, which is a safety reason that they'd like to do that. And then the press box, the ground doesn't seem very safe, so they were going to redo that. Just some upgrades. Those are the big ones.
What are they going to do with Roosevelt if they're trying to move admin to the Abbott building?
So that decision has not been made yet. That next year, so for the year 23-24, the Roosevelt program will continue at Abbott for sure. Dr. Bosby has said that will for sure stay there. After that, that decision hasn't been made, but there is plenty of room for the elementary school to continue along with central office, if that decision was to be made to have them both there.
What about the robotics program at the high school or any of the other schools? What are some of those things that the bond is going to cover?
So I think the bond specifically will mostly be for robotics, would be that CTE center at the high school. So it's remodeling the current space that you have, completely remodeling it to make it state of the art, up to date, enough space that you guys can actually work and run your robots. And then the addition. So you would have twice the amount of space, completely renovated. I don't know of any robotic addition at any of the other schools, but I think like currently the middle school comes to the high school to work on robotics, from what I understand. So my guess is that would continue just in the new fresh space.
If the bond passes, do you know what they're going to start with first, or the order that operations are going to happen?
Sure. There has been a suggestion, but it's a loose suggestion. They would start with the 2 elementary schools and then do the CTE. But that's not set in stone. Those types of things, if the bond passes, the day after it passes, that's when the real work starts to happen of planning it out and what will happen when and how can we make this happen and get projects going.
And then they do the sports stuff last after building?
To be honest, I'm not sure. I think that's in the last phase of the rough draft plan, but those things can always get adjusted.
What is your education?
So I have an undergrad from Michigan State University in biology and secondary education, and then a master's in teaching and curriculum from Michigan State University.
And the final question I have for you is, what role are you taking on the board?
So I am technically a trustee, and I have been assigned to be on to be a representative of the board on the PCN committee, which is Parent Communication Network. I'm on the curriculum council. I'm on the district steering committee and the bond committee. So those are the different facets that I'm currently really.
I would like to thank you for joining and for all you do. And I would also like to thank Miss Lisa Graff for helping me out and composing the email. Thank you for joining, and thanks for all you do.
Thank you, Max. Thank you for your time, and thank you for your interview. I really appreciate it.
Have a great rest of your night.
Thank you, Max. You too.
I will.